Hello everyone. It seems that the UAP world does not intend to stop and let me cover some of the established UFO lore, but instead brings news after news after news. So let us cover some of that which happened over the course of the last days. One of the first piece of news is a statement coming from Dr. John Kozlowski, who is in charge of the ARROW office, so All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, created by the US Senate a few years ago. Contrary to his predecessor, Dr. Kozlowski seems to be a touch more open to the idea that at least a sliver of observations reported to his agency can indeed have anomalous origins. In a recent speech, he mentioned that he thinks we are not alone in the universe. While this is a safe statement, almost a non-statement, reflecting the view of a big part of general population who believe that the universe is big enough to harbor sentient life elsewhere, it is still a step forward from the previous ultra-negative stance expressed by ARROW. Next, we had Mike Gold, who some of us have got to know during the November 2024 UFO hearing, a former NASA director who underlines the need to study all the data the agency has collected over the years, as it is a priceless trove of information, some of which can include UAP observations which may or may not have gone unnoticed. As support of his words, he did present a photo obtained during the Apollo 17 mission, which shows what seems to be a triangular object with dark blue lights in the vortices of the triangle. Whether this is an actual UFO or film damage, as the skeptics claim, I do not know, but the basic reasoning presented by Mike Gold in this case is solid and deserves attention, I believe. Some of the bigger news from the last week or so was coming forward of Dr. Gregory Rogers, also representing NASA, a person who was responsible for medical support of the space missions. He claims that he has seen video evidence of anomalous craft, in his own words, a flying saucer, presented by an unnamed military official in the 1990s. Moreover, he made bold claims stating that the USA is in possession of and operates vehicles or craft relying on anti-gravity propulsion systems, and has done so for quite some time. This opens a fairly wide window of possibility that said craft is in fact the fabled ARV technology, or alien anomalous reproduced vehicles. This story was initially presented by Daily Mail, but now we also have a longer interview, a link to which you can find in the comment section below. Next, we had an unexpected release of the full-length video of the jellyfish UAP presented in January 2024 by the investigative journalist Jeremy Corbell. Instead of the shorter snippet that we were shown back then, this release covers the entire 17 minutes of the recording made in infrared and depicting this strange octopus-like looking object floating in the air. Skeptics claim it to be a bunch of balloons, while those believing this is an actual UAP object point out that it does not behave like a balloon tossed around like a wind, but instead maintains a very stable trajectory. It also seems to change colors in the IR recording, which indicates temperature changes, and this in turn would be counterintuitive had it been just a balloon. You can see the video for yourself by clicking the link in the comment section. On Tuesday at noon Pacific time, we were presented with the second part of the much appreciated and awaited interview carried out by journalists Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp with the new whistleblower Matthew Brown, author of the memo concerning the unacknowledged Special Access Program and an umbrella program covering UAP crash and retrieval activities called Immaculate Constellation, presented to the US Congress last November. The thing started off where it left, and we have learned about one more case in which a Russian intelligence vessel was tracked by a triangular UAP over the Atlantic Ocean. We then learned how Matthew tried to go down his reporting line of duty with the findings and was essentially told to wrap his findings under the carpet. In the course of his search, he stumbled upon many more documents, including a transcript of a briefing provided to people from the Congress, including Marco Rubio, by the back then director of ARROW, Sean Kirkpatrick, who basically tried to lie to the Congress about the programs concerning UAPs and their reality, But even with the scarce information provided, Rubio still concluded that there are elements of the government intertwined with the intelligence community which have run programs outside of proper oversight for at least 60 years. We then learned more about the whole process, how Matthew Brown got to know more and more, when and why he decided to become an actual whistleblower, how difficult it was to reach people in the Congress and submit his report on Immaculate Constellation program, and so on, presenting the stonewalling and the often lack of willingness to proceed with provided information. Finally, the preview of Part 3 seems to latch onto the information Matthew has learned concerning the alien presence on the Earth and its motivations. Like many other people, he seems to hint that the phenomenon is intricately intertwined with our nature as human beings and with our place in reality. He also mentioned that non-human intelligence seems to be observing us and perhaps using us and/or the planet as a resource, so I guess we will see what happens next week when the final part of the interview drops, so stay tuned for this one. We saw some shuffles around in the positions in the organization promoting disclosure named the UAP Disclosure Fund. Chris Mellon moved to the chair of the board position, Matt Ford from the Good Trouble show left the organization citing personal reasons and his desire to focus on his show. Gary Nolan and Lou Elizondo also departed to some vivid speculations from the UFO community. And on Wednesday a thunder happened on the RUFO subreddit. We saw a post slightly similar to the famous fortune leak from 2023. This time we also had an alleged whistleblowers with a few months to live, exposing the doings of the Bigelow Aerospace Company and the OSAP project under the lead of Dr. James Lakatsky, who has once claimed to have cracked open a UFO and being inside one. The same post also allegedly exposes people like Lou Elizondo, Jay Stratton, Sean Kirkpatrick and other talking people in the UFO space for who they allegedly are. There was also a fairly detailed exposure of the recently mentioned capacity and capability of the use of anti-gravity technology, which has apparently been mastered to some extent. The leaked documents hint towards experiments carried out in Soviet Russia concerning rotating masses, the research by Thomas Townsend Brown, and the links between the electromagnetic vector potential and zero-point energy. The endpoint mentions that the Tic Tac UAPs are man-made, which claim, if true, would provide a very reasonable explanation of why, during the 2004 Nimitz encounter, the Tic Tac object was found at the cap or the meeting point of the Nimitz strike group, as reported by Commander David Fravor. The community is split on these revelations. On the one hand, we have an angry, visceral post from an account which was then deleted within minutes. We have John Greenwald of the Black Vault, famous for its FOIA requests, presenting some proof hinting at the potential authenticity of the presented material. We will see where the verdict eventually falls. You can read the document and the post for yourself in the link down below. So, here we are. The disclosure circuit does not show even the slightest intention to slow down even for a moment. What are your thoughts, dear viewers? Let me know in the comment section down below. I will keep you posted on the next events, most notably a UAP hearing apparently happening next week. Thank you for watching, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, take care, and I will see you soon in another video.